everyone! Today I'm going to be talking about norepinephrine. So, what is norepinephrine? Norepinephrine is a really important chemical in our body. It works as a hormone and a neurotransmitter. This means it can travel through the blood and also send signals from one nerve cell to another. It helps control our stress response, our alertness, our blood pressure, and even our mood. I'll be talking about all the key points that are below today. So the chemical structure, the chemical formula is C8H11NO3. The molar mass of 169.18 grams per mole. So it's basically made of 4 elements: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. It has a special shape called the catechol ring. It's basically a circle, kind of like a benzene ring, with 2 OH groups attached to it, and those OH groups are called hydroxyl groups. Off the ring, there are also an amine group, the NH2, and a small chain. All these groups make the molecule very polar. So here are some of the bonds that you see. There are single bonds, aromatic bonds, polar covalent bonds. The molecule is very polar. It's polar because it has oxygen and nitrogen, and these atoms act like electron magnets. Oxygen pulls electrons strongly in the OH bonds, and nitrogen pulls electrons strongly in the NH bonds. Let's move on. So the physical and chemical properties. The physical state is a crystalline solid. Color is off white tan. The solubility is water soluble, not lipid soluble. So the water likes other polar molecules. Since norepinephrine has many OH groups and an NH2 group, it can form hydrogen bonds with water easily. So it dissolves well in water, like sugar or salt, but not in fat. Function and metabolism. So the function of the body is to act both as a neurotransmitter or hormone responsible for a flight or fight response. It enhances our alertness, attention, and arousal, modulates mood, memory, and stress response. So some cells that produce it are the sympathetic nerve, the adrenal medulla, and the brainstem. The adrenal medulla is basically just the adrenal glands. So the production of it is the tyrosine into the L-DOPA. The L-DOPA is kind of like a raw ingredient and needed to make a dopamine. It's just like flour is needed to bake bread. It's a chemical in your body that makes from the amino acid tyrosine. It is the step before dopamine. And so when it gets the dopamine, it turns the dopamine into norepi, which is there's an enzyme in there called DPH, and it stands for dopamine beta hydroxylase. It's the enzyme that changes dopamine into the norepi. The chemical reaction type is an oxidation reaction. It's not considered single or double replacement, and it's exothermic. So, when the disease state, when it's too much. So the plasma norepinephrine fasting and resting for the blood test is 70 to 170. When it's too high, it's greater than 600, and it may indicate a tumor or a severe sympathetic activation. So that rare tumor they're talking about is called a pheochromocytoma, or adrenal tumors. That can cause excess of the norepi, severe stress or trauma, drug abuse, cocaine, and even hypothyroidism. It can cause you to feel very anxious, sweaty, fast heartbeat, high blood pressure, headaches, or shaking. And that rare tumor called the pheochromocytoma, wow, sorry, I can't say that. It can make the adrenal gland release huge amounts of norepi. That's why it causes excess in your body. Let's see. So when there's too little of the norepi, it's technically like below 70 in the blood test, or near 0 in the DBH deficiency, that's the dopamine beta hydroxylase. So the causes of that is the DPH deficiency, the Addison's disease, even ADHD, and autonomic failure. So some symptoms that you can feel is like low energy, fatigue, low blood pressure, dizziness or fainting, trouble focusing, depression-like symptoms, feeling unmotivated or foggy, and even that rare genetic problem, like I said, the DPH deficiency. It can almost like eliminate norepinephrine from the body. So the diagnosis, you find it through blood test, 24-hour urine test, and then special other tests to see if the levels drop normally, CTs, MRIs, all that good stuff. So the treatment for when it's too much are medications that block alpha and beta receptors, surgery to remove a tumor if it's the one causing the problem. So when it's too little, medications that increase norepinephrine, like SNRIs, NRIs, or stimulants. Emergencies, they can use synthetic norepinephrine, which is given through the IV, and it works immediately to raise your blood pressure. Let's see, what else? So these are the SNRIs, NRIs that I was talking about. Okay, so overall, norepinephrine is a small but powerful molecule. Its chemical structure, especially its polar bonds, explains why it dissolves in water, why it acts quickly, and why changes in its level can affect the heart, brain, and the whole body. Understanding chemistry can help us understand the symptoms, diagnosis, and treatments connected to it, especially when it comes into septic shock. Septic shock, they use that a lot in the hospital. It's called norepinephrine, but it's also called Levophed. So when they're using that, that's what they use when the blood pressure will not go up no matter what they do. Alright, guys. Here are some of my reference pages. And I hope you guys have a good night. Bye.